Hey, how's everybody doing? We got anybody there?
Good evening, everybody.
Welcome to Sunday Night Live with the Pastors. Got anybody on board with us this evening?
Remember when last week we started talking, we lost people.
Right, that's
true. We were just sitting here awkwardly.
Just stare. We'll just let's just nobody's on right now, so let's just stare. It's a freeze.
I did that. We added two people. Let's just keep going up and up.
Right. We'll just freeze and
make them think that
there's three.
Make them think that their computer's messed up.
Right, and they just keep resetting and we'll just add.
Then they'll miss the precious words that we say.
Right. So who do we got with us? Who's on board with us tonight? Let us know in the chat. We would love to be able to say hi to you. Fantastic. All right. Hey, Kathy. How you doing?
Kathy.
I feel really blessed that you decided to watch part of both services. That's great. Thank you for coming back. And it was good being with you on two different services as well. She's from our former church.
Okay.
Yeah. Really, really good friend.
Hello, Chantel. I hope you brought your questions.
Yes. We're doing good. We're doing well. We're kind of hungry. We think some people are going to be bringing us some food tonight, we think. We're hoping. We're praying. We've been asking for some food and been waiting. And people say that they're going to bring it, but we haven't really seen anything yet. So we're just kind of waiting to see. But I think something's going to be coming pretty soon. I heard that it's going to be coming. So we'll see.
Still have no veggie tray today.
Yeah, no veggie tray. And still waiting for my liver and onions.
Yeah. Dana, are you hungry?
So,
kind of a little bit.
Yeah. So, we have right here. Okay, look, it's Heisman Catering.
Okay.
Yeah, let's bring that over here.
Yeah. Look at this little note to go along with it.
Oh,
lasagna soup, 2 each. Love the Heisman.
Oh, great! So we got some lasagna soup from the Heisman. So.
Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I'm pretty good at that, right?
Yeah.
All right. What'd you get? What happened?
Do you ever find a cut on your hands?
Oh. That's horrible. Yeah, don't put Germ-X in any cuts in your hand. That's not good.
Oh, but it's good to know that I got one there. All right.
So
wait. Do you need Lysol, or did you already apply deodorant today?
Well, I did apply deodorant, but
I did too. I'm good to go.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So let's see here.
Smells delicious.
All right.
Oh, look at this. It's even in little catering cups.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Wow. Oh, there's wow. Okay.
That said 2 each. This looks like 4 each.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. What is 2 each?
I know, but I counted 4 in my head, but the math didn't come out right.
Yeah, 4 each.
Way to correct me live on TV. Just have my back here, bud.
All right. Sorry. So look in there. I think that's bread. Sure. So this is from Heisman Cade. They're gonna get calls. This is from Bob and Ronnie Heisman. This is their lasagna soup, which is amazing.
Bread, look at that. It looks like it. That looks delicious.
Yeah. And okay, this is great. All right, so we have. I guess this is one with full. All right. All right. So there's 2. We got 4 bowls and 4 spoons. I don't know who else they thought was going to eat with us, but looks like there's somebody else coming. Looks like we had some more food coming up. So going over there and maybe that's my liver and onions. We got more food coming, friends. So this is great. This is going to be probably the best show you have seen yet. So we are really excited. Right now we got lasagna soup. I'm hoping and praying. It looks like the Guagliardi Catering is here, and it looks like I might be getting some liver and onions, which I've been asking for a while. So that'd be fantastic. Yes, Kathy, I'm the only one in my house and probably in the world that really loves liver and onions like I do. So this is great. So we got a huge spread today. All right, here we go. Anthony Guagliardi coming in from Guagliardi Catering. Thank you so much.
I bought waters.
You brought waters? Thank you. I was saying to Andrew, I said, I don't have anything to drink. And then I looked, and Andrew had something to drink. And I'm like, you didn't bring me?
It's no soda.
No, yeah, I know. So, but that's okay. You wanna come in and guest shot here?
I'll
Come on in here,
hello.
Anthony. Say hi.
Hello.
Say hi. Anthony's visiting us. He's here. Thank you, Anthony. It's good to see you.
Let's see. Bob gave you a lot of food there.
He gave us a whole show. All right, so we got some honey barbecue chips.
Barbecue. All right.
All right, one for each of us. All right,
Thank you,
great.
Jeff.
All right. Oh, yeah, here's the veggie tray. There we go. Individually wrapped. I'm very clean, safe.
Yep.
Um,
What's in the bag number 2?
all right. So I think this is probably for you.
What's that?
This is some burgers and fries.
Okay.
Stuff, right?
What's that?
And then this.
Is that what I think it is?
Look at that. Some nice liver and onions. Yeah, I think this just turned into a 2-hour show tonight.
See you
So-
later.
All right,
Don't
thank
eat that
you.
in front of me, please.
Thank you. All right, that's fantastic. Here, if you want a water, I'll be over here. Oh, no, you want water? Here. It's one for you too.
Yeah, here.
All right.
You can keep your liver on
Okay.
that side of the table.
All right,
and
that's
I'll
great.
keep my burger.
That's great. So we
This side of
got
it.
lasagna soup.
And
We
that-
got liver and onions, which, believe it or not, Andrew is going to get a chance to chase some really good liver and onions today.
I like my liver inside.
And then we got a veggie tray.
Veggies most.
Yep, and yeah, so we're doing good. So wish you guys could be here. So we'll eat all of this.
You need a bib.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta.
On your behalf.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pray for the food right now. If you guys want to join us in prayer for our food, and then we'll see if you have some questions. All right. Father God, we just thank you so much for this food. We ask that you bless it to our bodies. We thank you so much for our friends who brought this to us. They know we're just joking, but thank you for their love and hospitality. Bless them and watch over them and watch over all of us. And we praise you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, so we should probably start with like veggies, like
Veggies
appetizer,
first.
right?
Yeah.
So
Veggies first.
we'll do the veggie appetizer. So this is the appetizer portion of our show. So the questions need to be light questions. These first questions need to be lighthearted questions. So just go ahead and shoot away at the lighthearted questions.
Enjoy the liver and onions. I'd rather starve than eat that. Claire,
That's okay,
I
Claire.
agree.
You
I agree.
won't have to starve. I'll eat it for you. You'll be fine.
It actually doesn't look bad. Like it looks just like steak, like with onions and slop. Like just like I'm sure it's good-ish. Maybe if you like liver and onions.
All right. So
But I just can't get past the idea that that's a liver sitting in a bowl. Some animal, I'm sure, would have liked that,
Mhm.
have that.
well,
No double dip. All right, we'll establish that. All right. Awesome.
so
The party foul to double dip.
yeah. Well. Yeah. Oh, here's the second bowl if you need it for something else.
The bar.
All right, so let's see if we have some lighthearted questions here. Are you naturally evangelistic? I hate that word. I can't say that word to save my life. Like, say that word without looking at it. Just say it.
Evangelistic.
No, but say. Don't break it up into syllables like that. Just say it like football.
Evangelistic.
Evangelistic. There you go. Evangelistic. Evangelistic. I have a hard time. It always happens to me when I'm preaching. I'll go, yeah, we need to be more evangelistic. Now I can say it. It sounds easy.
Evangelistic.
Okay, so are you naturally evangelistic, or do you have to force yourself to do it? I'll say for me, I am not. Well, it depends on the format, right? If I'm preaching, clearly it comes very naturally to me. If I'm talking to someone on the street and they ask me a question, or they they inquire, or I'm counseling someone or something like that, it's very easy for me. It comes naturally for me. But if I'm like at 7-Eleven across the street and someone's in the front of the store, like they're getting their food, and they said, is this milk, has it expired? I'm not going to say, well, the milk might expire. Kind of like us. We're going to expire one day. Our limit's going to be up, and we want to make sure that we're ready to go into eternity. Yeah, that's not me. I just can't do that. I know some people can do that. One of our elders, John Spiciericz, amazing guy. He, he'll see out there, he'll be walking through the park and he'll see a tree and he'll start evangelizing the tree, and the tree will start waving and worshiping God. He's just like really good at being able to do that. For me personally, I have a hard time just coming out like that right away. If they give me an opening, if there's an opening for me, absolutely. But to just kind of go out there like that, I'm more disciple oriented. I feel like that's one of the gifts that God has given me, where I'm more focused on the body itself and encouraging the body and helping the body to grow in that way. So that's like my major gift. What about you? You're eating all of our veggies right now while I'm talking. So
Well, nothing else to do while you're talking. You just keep talking. Yeah, so I would say that in a situation like where how John, he was describing, John is like, God has blessed him with that ability to just see everything as an opportunity. And it's something that we all should be able to aspire to be just like that. So in the sense of like when I'm out and I'm out and about, I'm not doing like church things. Like if there's that opportunity, that opening, or something happens, absolutely, like that's the first thing that comes to my mind. But I guess I should be more open-minded in that sense of like whenever time I leave my house, there's always an opportunity to tell somebody about Jesus, and it's true, there is. So I hope I answered that question. I would say yes, but not in the sense of like how John is very, blessed in that regard. So, like you said, a tree.
Yeah. So Bob Heisman had to say what you had to say. It's like,
Oh, I couldn't see you.
So like I'm like, hey, so how'd the message go? And Andrew starts saying, well, this was happening, and I was like, okay, no, I'm just kidding. No, but so Bob says he couldn't see me. He couldn't see me because
John Cena.
I blended into the background. So you know what I think I'll do? I'm gonna wear a shirt next week with a border that has like a black border around my shirt.
Yeah.
And then that way I won't blend into the background as much. Would that work? Or maybe I just change the background.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go. That's what I should paint the wall.
Paint the wall again.
Paint the wall every week, and
To match your shirt?
All right, so your wife too. It's the first thing she noticed.
It was.
First thing she noticed.
She's like got that eye.
Let's see here. Do you both realize that you have been wearing blue since the second Sunday night's Q&A?
Well, we are near water, so blue is a very natural color.
It could just be the reflection.
Yeah. Well, this is actually green. You just can't tell. So.
Yeah, it's the color coded on this. I'm wearing black. Yeah. So black with green stripes.
Yeah. You guys are wearing blue again. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go and
you're gonna dive in.
I'm gonna dive in because we got this. We got a little bit here. So
we're not the Blue Man Group because that name was taken.
Yeah.
But we're just and
we're
two men who wear blue.
Yeah. We're not gonna be the denim group either.
That was shut down.
Yeah.
What would you say to your young ministry if you were to start over again?
Our young ministry. Are you
your younger self?
Are you speaking about what we'd say to ourselves?
Yes, going over there, amigo. Yeah. Appreciate it. Vote on the color scheme next week. That could get dangerous.
Yeah, it could.
All right, going in first bite.
Hey,
younger self. Okay.
I'm using the bowl you sent, Bob. So that anybody.
I don't like to waste what God has given people. So.
Right. Well, He gave that to you. You're wasting it. Wait. You're going to share that with your wife?
There's another one.
Oh, that's right. That's true.
Yeah. Oh wait, we should probably answer the question first. We should probably answer the question and then bite.
Is there a question?
Answer the question. Yeah. What advice would you say to your younger self?
What did you say? Your younger? Oh, she did say her younger self.
Yeah.
Run! No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
just kidding.
We don't have the time for that. What I would say to my younger self, like in ministry, I've learned a lot of things in ministry, like early on. To give you like a snapshot, and you'll be able to see where I'm going. Is that my first actual job in ministry was like an internship in ministry. Well, my second internship in ministry, I guess I should say, where like I was actually getting paid. And the senior pastor was already on his way out, so he left within the first like month of me being there. And then some of the students, their parent died, and I had to help with that, like all in the same month of being there, and then had to deal with just a bunch of other things with people. And so there's a lot of things that I would have told myself, like, don't be afraid to ask for help, for one. Don't be afraid to tell to admit that you don't know something, instead of just, always trying to come up with the answer for something. Are you smirking in the background? I know it's good soup, but
I just realized that you were talking. I'm reading the questions and I'm eating the soup, and I just realized
how rude.
I just realized you're still standing here talking. I'm sorry. So I missed everything you said. Sorry.
Just rewind. So I would say things like that. Yeah. My parents got a divorce all the same time in that same month as well. All that happened. I had to help carry that the student's father down the steps, help carry him. There's a lot of things I learned in that. And then I learned a lot of things about like church leadership, about church planting, that I would have told myself if I could go back and tell myself then. I would say, what we've talked about on the show before is, bloom where you're planted, and, have the mentality of next man up, meaning that, you're not always going to be in the same ministry forever. Just like, New York here, like, I don't know what God's plan has for me here and my family here. So, I don't know if I'll be here forever, but so I have to have the mindset of next man up is, everything that I do is preparing for the next person, one day, I could die here in New York, 10 years from now. So is the youth pastor. So I have to prepare the ministry, prepare the church as if, I won't be here. So just things like that. So hope that helps. So here, I'll sit and let's chill on my soup.
Okay. Okay. So, what was the question again? What would you say to your younger self? How much time do we have? It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I guess for me, I didn't go to school before I went into ministry. Not that would have really mattered a whole lot, because school prepares you for teaching and preaching a little bit and stuff, and some of the administrative things, but there's a lot of intangibles that you can't, you don't get in schooling. And so I guess I would tell myself what ministry is really, really like. I guess I came in when I felt called into ministry. I think I've shared this with you before. I've shared it with this church. I've shared it with my former church. That when I first came into ministry, I had this idea that I was going to be like this huge encouraging pastor. Not that I'm not encouraging, but like I was going to be like, and kind of, I said, before, kind of like Joel Osteen, but with the doctrine. Not that I'm not bashing on Joel Osteen or anything, but where I'd be more positive and uplifting and just like that. And people would just like flock and like it'd be great. And they'd hear about Jesus and stuff. But because of some circumstances, I had to, it's actually turned out to be a good thing, because I had to really understand what I believed and be strong with theology and doctrine and sharing it with the church and the body. And because of that, sometimes people don't want to hear what God has called you to say. And that was hard for me. And that's hard for me today, even in my current ministry. There are times where I'm either from the pulpit or I'm counseling people and I'm sharing things with them and they don't want to do it. And I guess I would remind myself or make sure that I knew for sure that, what you're doing, JR, you're doing it for Christ. You're doing it because of your love for him. You're doing it because your love for people because of him. You're not doing it because people are going to listen. I guess you feel like God gives you a message, you're going to deliver the message, and people are all going to jump up and not clap because of you, but say, gosh, God gave you this message. That's amazing. That's so great. Yeah, praise God that he gave you this message and it's changing my life. And some people do that. That does happen from time to time. But the majority of the time, either there's crickets, or you're preaching and the people are on their phones or they're doing other things, and just to remind myself that that I'm obeying God, and I'm just the mouthpiece. I'm just kind of like the speaker, that God uses. He just speaks through me, and then whatever he decides to do, he decides to do. And I think if I would have known or kind of grasped that a little early on, I wouldn't have been so concerned about what other people thought or other people feel. Even today, I still have to remind myself that, because if people don't like what I have to say, I take it personally, but it's not me. I mean, I guess I should take it personally if I came up with it, right? If I came up with the ideas and I'm just like sharing it and stuff like that. But the word that I'm sharing is God's word. So I shouldn't take it personally like that. I should just go. So I would encourage myself in that way. I would also encourage myself to enjoy ministry a little bit more, a little sooner. Again, you get caught up in doing all this stuff, and you got to do this, and you got to do that, and you want to make sure the church is growing, not only numerically but spiritually. And then you walk into the office, right, and the thing fell down, ceiling tile fell down, and water's there, and then you got to figure that out, and so I would encourage myself to enjoy the moments. Like right now, I'll have to say, really, I know for a fact that preaching is the most favorite thing that I do. Does that make the most favorite? It would just be favorite, not most favorite thing I do.
Yep.
But I'll say besides that, what we're doing right now is like almost the second best thing I've ever done.
Having people watch us eat?
Yes.
All right.
No,
you heard it here first, folks.
No, the Sunday Night Live thing. I'm really enjoying this. The other thing we did at my fortress, we did dinner theaters, and we did a couple dinner theaters and skits and dramas, and I really enjoyed that. But like doing this right now, just being lighthearted, being able to talk to you, answer your questions, eat good food. This has been a huge blessing to me, and especially with everything else that's going on right now. When I come here to do this, I don't think of this as like work or I got to do this. It's just an escape for me a little bit. So I don't know if that really answered the question. I feel like a lot of these questions, I need to write them down. Give me your questions you want me to answer next week. So I can write them down and answer them next week.
To add on to that, though, as well, is, the thing that I would say to myself is, I lost it from sitting down and standing up. I lost it. Hold on, I'll come back. It's about what you were talking about. You don't work to make a man happy. I'm not in the business of making men happy and making women happy with what I do with, preaching directly from God's word. And, I work with people, so people are going to be upset. People are going to, not like certain things that I do or decisions, but it's not that I don't need to be working for the approval of man, only the approval of God. That if I'm still within, my, fulfilling God's will that he's placed in my life, then that's really all that should matter. It's not, trying to make a man happy. I can't tell you how much time I've spent in my life. I'm sure you guys could too, is just trying to make, no, that's not happening, bro. Is
just smell it. Just smell it.
I can smell it from here. I can smell it from here.
It's good.
Anyway, I can't tell you how much time I've wasted just trying to, please a man rather than just please God. Because in the end, if you please God and seek to please God over pleasing man, you can't go wrong. And, it's applicable for whatever job that you have or whatever you get going in your life, is that if you just strive to please God and do God's will, God's going to bless it and it's not going to work out. It's all going to work out. So long-winded answer there. But, oh man,
you got to try it.
Those liver nuggets, man. I know what it looks like and I know what it is. It looks good. Oh man, your fingers in the camera. You're blocking my view. People can't see me. What are you doing?
So we're gonna sit down and eat.
What are you doing?
All right, try that.
All right, so more questions. Let's keep them coming. That was a good question. I forget who asked that. Chantel. That was a good question.
Good question, Chantel. Nobody's answering anything. Like, why did we ask them that question? I hate when they ask questions that can incriminate us or make us feel.
Do you feel guilty of something, JR? Do you have something to admit here?
I feel guilty.
Is you
No.
incriminating? No, I'm just joking. Let's get those questions pumping.
Yeah.
Chantel and Dana. All right, I'm going to go in for the burger here. Why did I feel called? Why did you feel called to serve NCC? Want to go first?
I feel like I answered that question before, though. Oh, Bob Heisman has a favorite city you've been to and why. So,
Munich, Germany.
why?
It's Germany, for one. Just the history there. Was really cool. Being able to be in a foreign country and go do. I've been to Dachau concentration camp, and like that was incredibly humbling to walk through that place, and just the quietness out of respect for what took place there. Learning the more richer history of like everything that took place there, other than like what you hear in school, was just incredible. And it was, like I said, it was just humbling. So I loved, being in Munich and traveling a little bit outside it. You?
I feel like this is going to sound lame because it seems like there's a question every week that has to do with, that leads me back to this, and I'm not just saying this, it's true. It would probably be Phoenix, Arizona, because that's where I met my wife. So it's true. That's, that was, in fact, everything about there. I just loved Phoenix, loved it. And that's where I met Carrie. And we've often said that if we didn't have any family or friends or whatever, although it might change now because we'd like to be by a tropical island or by the beach, but we always said we'd move back to Phoenix, or that's where we'd live if we didn't do anything. Carrie said Ronnie,
we're sorry we missed your question. We were stuffing our faces. Probably missed it.
But I don't see. I see. You guys are wearing blue again. Let's vote on the color scheme. I guess other candidates for Paxton. I don't see any other question for Ronnie. So if there's another question, just go ahead and let us know. Unless we're on two separate sections. Oh, tell one event in your young life that you can look back on and say you could see God was there during that time.
Where's that one at?
Right here.
Oh.
It just came up.
Okay. This is sort of an incriminating question, but it is what it is. So before I was a Christian, I actually went to Christian Bible school before I was actually a Christian. I was just following what I felt God was leading me to and calling me to, and I had no idea what that looked like, but I just went and did that, and found the school where I could play football and get paid to do that, and get a ministry degree on the side was my mentality. But my freshman year, one of the things that I did was all like the players and stuff, or I should say not all of them, but a lot of them would go out to the next town over, and they would go to the club. And so, I went, and I wasn't necessarily drinking or anything. I was just with them. And I made the stupid decision to get in the car with somebody who had been drinking. I was just there hanging out with, with the team and stuff. And we almost got into a wreck, and it would have, completely like destroyed and killed all of us. But then like last second, he was able to move over, and just, that's just one of those moments that's always stuck with me as like one of the most defining moments, because had that not happened, I wouldn't have had the moment where I need to really wake up and realize, why am I here? Oh yeah, I'm following what, God is calling me to do. And had I not had that moment, who knows if what would have happened or not had it happened since then. So I would say that question.
Okay, good. For me, I guess, again, I wasn't, a believer growing up, but something that happened for me when I was younger. I've shared this story before, but it when you said defining moments, this is really a defining moment. This is why I don't eat.
Yeah, and it was
Before
hard
I preach.
It was hard to talk,
Um,
not burp.
So when I was 12 years old, I was doing drugs, smoking pot, smoking about 2 packs of cigarettes a day. And yes, I really was. People were like, how's that possible? That's true. I was. And I was cutting school and hooking school, and hadn't really gotten into anything like heavy as far as the drugs go at that point. But my mom, she didn't know about the drugs or anything like that, but she knew that I had cut school and I was hooking. She knew that I was getting into some bad things, and I'm clear that I believe firmly that God, inspired my mom in some way to share this with me or to say this to me. She one day we got into a big argument, and I went outside, and she came outside to me, Lansdowne, 748 Fifth Avenue, behind our apartment there. And she came up to me, and she I wanted to be an actor since I was 4 years old. So she came up to me and she said to me, if you keep living your life like this, you're never going to achieve your dreams. And probably the second most powerful words ever spoken to me. The first most powerful words were, things will never be right this way between you and your spouse until you get things right this way between you and God. And that changed my life for eternity. But these words that my mom told me, really, to be honest, probably saved my life. She said, you're never going to reach your dreams if you keep going in the way that you're going. And that day, literally that day, I stopped doing drugs. That was on a Saturday. Monday morning, I got into school, and this guy in school, Eddie, we were in science class, and he was talking to me. And this is before it was ever on the news or anything. He said to me, man, they got a new drug. You got to try it. And I'm like, no, Eddie, I'm not doing that anymore. He said, no, man, you got to really do it. You're going to love it. It's great. And I'm like, no, I can't. He said, you got to try it. Come on, man. It's called crack. And that was before crack cocaine had hit the news and stuff. This was in the 84, 85 time frame around there. And and I said no. But if my mom wouldn't have said anything to me that day, that Saturday, I'm positive, I would have been all over it. And I probably would not be sitting here today. I have a very addictive nature about me, and very obsessive at times too. And so I could see that really destroying me. So clearly God was at work through my mom at that point. What is your favorite website?
It's an oddly very specific question, but I can tell you put some time into that one.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, like sitting down. I know they put some time into it because they were on the phone
Well,
together.
it seems so arbitrary, so random, or whatever. My favorite website is jrlightstein.com. Yes, that is a real, true website, jrlightstein.com.
Way to plug it right there.
No, but that's not. No, mymarriageisworthit.com. That's our personal marriage ministry. Again, it's www.mymarriageisworthit.com. There's NesconsetChristianChurch.com. There's MidlandChristianChurch.com. Did I mention that I actually created all these websites? Maybe that's part of why I love them so much.
Yeah, maybe. Sophia Hurst, I see you tell an embarrassing story. I'll tell you my favorite website first. So my favorite website.
What a way to.
Yeah, my favorite. That's how my mind works, man. I'm like everywhere. I'm like a squirrel. Oh, speaking of squirrel, this morning before first service, right? I'll get back to your question. Don't worry. I'm circling the loop there. Is this morning before first service, I let the dog out, let him put him on the chain, use the bathroom, bring him back inside. There was a squirrel, and I hate squirrels. New York squirrels are the biggest, fattest, meanest, evilest creatures ever, right? That's a side story. Mm-hmm. But anywho's is so I opened
Any
the door.
who's.
Anywho's. Anyway,
It's any who, but any who's you pluralize it.
yes. Anyway, so I opened anyways, I open the door and the squirrel hears the door open and it takes off. And the dog has just enough chain to go after the squirrel. And my dog, Zeke, had he like reached out and just chomped down, he would have chomped down on some squirrel booty because it was right there. And he would have had a new stuffed, well, would have been pre-stuffed. It would have looked a lot like your plate right there. Had the liver on the outside where it's not supposed to be, all before first service. But like, it was just super funny because like, he didn't even bite him or try to bite him. He just like, roof, roof, and just like puffing out his chest and being all big and bad. Side story to the side story. That is correct. So back to embarrassing story. No, that's my favorite website. All right. Right?
Website, yeah.
Yeah, favorite website. Man, that's a tough one. I would say dym.com, which is downloadyouthministry.com. It has tons of like games and things like that, and resources that other youth pastors have created, or graphics.
You're definitely a youth pastor.
What?
Because the first thing you said is it's got a lot of stuff for youth ministry. It's got games. It's like the first thing in your head. Games. It's got games.
First thing, yeah. So if you were online, actually last Wednesday, the game we played was actually a DYM special. Came straight from them. So that would be my favorite website. I'm on there maybe daily, or every other day. So embarrassing story. See, I'm telling you, circling back, you know how the brain works. Embarrassing story. Do you have one off the top of your head?
I do.
Let's hear it. What do you think?
How do I tell the story though?
With words.
Oh, very good. It was So there are times when you have to deal with certain things in ministry, and there was something that happened in our past where there was someone from the church who had left the church for whatever reason that they did, and again, here's another thing to go back to the other thing about what I tell my younger self. Again, so now I'm doing your thing. I'm going back.
All right.
For my wife and I, whenever we would lose someone from the church, whether it was at our former church or here, we've gotten better at it, but it would break our heart. I mean, literally like break our heart. I mean, I can't tell you, especially early on in our ministry, how many times my wife cried her eyes out. I mean, we're just crying, and it really, really hurt and broke us and stuff when people would leave the church. And there was one person who was leaving the church, and the reason that they had wasn't, it just really didn't make any sense. And Carrie was brokenhearted about it. So I was trying to encourage her. So I wrote an email to Carrie, and my email basically said, this person, don't let it bother you. God's in control. And the person was actually living kind of like a sinful life. And not that any of us are perfect, right? But they were really like away from things. So I told Carrie, I said, they are so away from God that they wouldn't be able to hear God's voice if they tried, because they were still living in this way. And so I hit send, but instead of sending it to Carrie, I actually sent it to that person I was talking about. And I don't know if that's embarrassing or humiliating or humbling or something much, much worse than that. But it was really, really bad. And I contacted that person immediately and apologized and explained the situation. And I kind of felt like David and Uriah, he's handling it. It was Uriah, right? Right. I just preached on this. Yeah. He showed more character about than what I did. He forgave me, and he actually said, "You're right. You're absolutely right. That's what you said was true." And he said, "But I forgive you." Never did come back, but that is why now I have a 5-minute buffer on my emails. If I send an email out, it sits in my email box for 5 minutes.
It's true. I can vouch for that. Yeah.
So that I don't send any other stupid things, and so
yeah. Okay. Good story.
Yeah. Now you're gonna tell about one where you slipped and fell on a banana peel and someone laughed at you.
What's this, Mario Kart?
Oh, okay.
No. Sophia, do you want me to tell you an embarrassing story about like us or like just about myself? We'll get specific because I don't know if I have one just for myself off the top of my head.
So you're gonna tell an embarrassing story about me?
No, it involves us both.
Oh,
Yeah, it involves us both. That is if Sophia Hurst is still on. Let's see. Maybe she got on, got off. Man, to think of a question or to think of a embarrassing story on myself.
any.
Okay, any. All right, I'll give you a two for one
But
special.
don't you need to get like my permission or something before you tell an embarrassing story about me?
Can I have your permission to
All
tell
right,
this
sure,
embarrassing
go
story?
ahead.
So I don't know. One day, me and JR, we were just in our own offices, and he comes in. He goes, "Hey, you want to go to Costco with me? I got to get some stuff for."
Oh yeah. Well, that's more about you than me, so that's fine.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, okay, we'll go. So we hop in the car, or hop in his van, and we go to Costco. And I'm in there, and there's this woman. Like, side story to this main point. There's this woman who she was smaller and she was struggling to get this like bag of dog food or whatever. So we walked past. I stopped and I turned around and asked her, "Say, hey, do you need some help carrying that?" And she goes, "Yeah, yes, that would be help me out a lot." So I helped her carry it, and I said, "I'll meet you back here, right where I'm at." And I knew he would leave me, not stay planted and stay where I last saw him.
Well, we had things to do, as you know.
I asked you, you said okay, but anyways, anywho's, so I go to the counter and like the checkout counter, and I place it up there for the woman. And then I go back to where I said, "I'll meet you here." I go back and he's not there, right? And so I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, I know what I'll do. I'll try to embarrass this guy. And so I went through aisle after aisle, shouting like a little kid, "Dad, Dad!" And there's people in each aisle, of course. Because I didn't look before I shouted "Dad," which I should have. But there was people looking at me like there was something wrong with me. And it turned out more embarrassing for me. And then I actually lost the guy. And I was like, did he actually leave me here at Costco? And then I was still new. I was like, I don't know my way home. Like, did he leave me? And then I was sitting there going to the checkout. And he's standing by the door. And he's already checked out. He's been standing there for 10 minutes as I'm looking through the store shouting "Dad." And it was more of an embarrassing story about me. But that's that. Carrie, yeah, it always makes you laugh every time.
But here's the thing, though. You were carrying the bag up to the front for her.
Yeah.
We were getting ready to check out.
Yeah.
So I went up to check out.
Did you see me when I was there?
Thinking, I thought you would see me.
I never. No.
And then, so I'm going
This
up
is
there.
the first time in this entire story I ever thought, like, wait a minute, was he there up checking out when I was up there too? This is seriously the first time I thought about that.
Yeah, because then I came back and I'm looking for you, and then you're coming in from the.
Yeah. Well, I just assumed that like when I was already leaving, like I went around this way to the other aisles, and you were going around the other side.
Okay.
So.
All right. So besides the Bible, what was the last book you read? Do you read for pleasure? Okay. So there's an interesting thing, Bob. I used to read for pleasure a lot. I used to read a lot on my own. What's funny is like my wife, she wasn't a big reader, and she didn't really like to read or anything like that. And when we first became believers, we started reading the Bible out loud together and reading. And now my wife is a much more voracious reader than I am. She just reads. Voracious, right? Voracious.
I don't know.
Reads a lot. She
Okay.
reads a lot more than me.
It wasn't that I didn't know what the word meant. It was just like it wasn't pronouncing clearly. So it was just
Well, because I wasn't sure if I was
camera.
Well, I wasn't sure if I was saying it correctly, so I decided to say it like that on purpose. Softer, yeah,
All right.
voracious. Like when I say evangelical, so I try to say it like that.
Yeah.
So now I can say the word perfectly, evangelical. So anyway, she likes to read a lot. And she reads a lot more than I do. I used to read a ton. And now I still do read a ton, but it's mostly either related to the church or related to school, which I guess would be related to the church still.
Mm-hmm.
So the last book that I read or that I'm reading is Reviving Evangelical Ethics. So it's a very spirited, dry book, but that's what I'm reading. That's what I'm currently reading. And you're like on what are you on, like the
I'm
which
in the
one?
picture books.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But like
I knew that's where you were going. I knew
Right.
exactly where you were going.
Well, I mean, because you were talking to me about Green Eggs and Ham and how much you like that one, and I just didn't know
Yes.
if you were on to the next one or not, or which
No,
one.
I'm on like the books that has like the little like 2 on it at the top right corner.
Oh,
It
okay,
says like level 2.
okay,
I'm right there.
okay. Or what's the what are those books? Someone tell me the golden something.
Judy B. Jones,
No, the golden books. The golden.
Golden Girls.
No, not the Golden Girls. No, it's a children's book. You'll know it. It's called Golden something, and on the back it's got like all the Sesame Street characters and all these different characters that go around the back, and it's got like this gold like trim around. Golden what? Golden what? Someone help me with that.
Golden Stream, Golden
Rainbow.
Rainbow, Golden.
Ah, I used to love those books too. All right, so
So I guess I'll answer that question as well. Besides the Bible, I do like to read.
little golden books. Little
Yes,
golden books.
okay, yeah.
Yep, little golden books.
I do like to read for pleasure. Excuse me. This is why it's bad to eat and talk at the same time. But I do enjoy reading for pleasure. I have to really be like in the mood, and like when I'm in the mood to read, like I'll just like usually knock out half a book or like an entire book in one sitting, and like I'll just stay up late and just finish the book. What I'm currently reading, I'm currently in the middle of several books, but I can't remember the name of all of them. The one that comes off the top of my head now is this book called How to Be a Christian Without Being Religious. And it goes through the entire book of Romans, and it talks about, there's a small little commentary on Romans, but it talks about, not being like legalistic, like within your faith or with your faith. And so it's a really good book. I read it in college. I'm rereading that right now. So it's a really good book that I'm currently reading. One that I just recently finished not too long ago is Letters to the Church by Francis Chan. I finished that. Finished another one by him, which was Love something. I can't remember what else. You know what I'm talking about?
Crazy Love.
Crazy Love, yeah. Crazy Love, yeah. So
Yeah. What was that?
that was weird. Maybe it was another ceiling tile.
Oh, I hope not. Oh, it's raining too.
I was just joking about that.
Just hold on. I'm going to check and make sure that there's nothing.
Crazy Love. That's another good book. Yeah. That's yeah. That's one I just said. Crazy Love. Yeah. Something new. I was thinking of Love Does. Love Does by Bob Goff. That's another really good book. I really can't think of what this other book is called that I'm into right now. I'm seriously, I'm into like 4 or 5 different books right now. I'm in one that's a commentary on Galatians and Ephesians, so I'm reading that as well. It's not like one of those like thick, like commentary books that are like really stale and boring to read. This is like really interesting because it has like side story in it. So yeah.
So what are you eating? Carrie, want to know what you're eating. It looks like a McDonald's breakfast sandwich.
This is a burger with onions on it from Guagliardi Cafe.
Yeah. So the Guagliardi Cafe delivered burgers for Andrew and
You like hot stuff?
And liver for me. And I offered Andrew to try some of the liver, which he had neglected to do. And he has not even offered me a French fry from his tray. So I don't know what that's all about.
My food is always open.
Oh, no, it's fine now.
I mean, we're just trying to keep, the ketchup.
So you're going to try the liver?
I'll try it.
All right, go ahead.
But answer this question: do you like hot wings?
Hot what?
Wings, like wings. Hot wings.
What? Wings?
Yes, hot wings.
You're saying wings.
Hot wings.
Can you say
good?
Wings.
Hot wings. Hot wings.
I wish you could hear this in person. He said hot wings. You're like hot wings. Hot wings. You're like hot wings. I'm like, what is a hot wing? Hot wings. Yes.
Like,
well, I like hot wings. I like
that's
them
word for word
mild.
what I'm saying.
I like them more mild. I like mild wings.
Okay. So-
Moderately hot wings.
So have you? Maybe you guys have seen this. Let us know in the comments. But have you ever? Sounds like wings. You know what, Steve?
Yeah,
I
see?
thought I liked you, bro. But I'm just joking. Okay, wings. I'm done.
Wings. So what about the wings?
But that W word is there's a show called Hot Ones. Okay. And they get asked questions like what we're doing now. And, they ask the question. And if it could be like tell something embarrassing or something like that. Or something similar like that. And based on if you want to answer it or not, if you don't want to answer it, then you'll try a hot wing. And the harder the question about yourself, the hotter the wing choice is going to be. So it's forcing you to either eat a really hot W word or answer the question.
Wow.
So
Okay. So you still love
let's see here. We'll give it up here. Ask a really hard question about myself or JR for me to answer. And if I, don't want to answer it, then I'll try a piece of the liver. So is it a question that you don't want to answer, or if you just answer it wrong? It's a question that I would probably prefer not to answer, but I could answer it, and then it would just be, either embarrassing.
Well, we're waiting for questions. Chantel wants to know, how much time does it take to prepare a sermon? You're going to think that this is a joke, and that the way I'm saying this is wings is like I'm skirting the issue. I'll tell you the exact time that I typically do, but really the real answer, how much time does it take to prepare a sermon? It takes a lifetime. It takes a lifetime to prepare a sermon because my sermons and the messages.
How many lifetimes you got, man? You got 9 lives.
It takes, because it's, I guess, anybody can just read something or just copy something or just, get some things and stuff. But, I pour so much of myself into my sermons that it's, that it really does. It's every part of me that's in the sermon. And it really depends on the material that I'm focused on, because I've heard some people say, that it takes 20 to 25 hours to prepare a sermon. Some will say 8 to 10 hours. Really, for me, it really depends on certain material, the material that I've been doing recently and stuff. It hasn't taken quite as long because I'm very familiar with the material. And a lot of the time is in praying. It's in listening, hearing what God wants me to say, and showing me how to package it, if that sounds right. And what I mean by that when I say package it is that there are times where, there's lots of different ways that you can prepare a sermon, but I always prepare the sermon for the body that I'm preaching to. I don't usually just have something and I'm just going to do it. Usually I'm thinking about our church. I'm thinking about our body. I'm thinking about our people. So the things that I'm saying is involved in there. So even if I've done this before, I've used material that I've used before, but even then I'm asking God, show me, how does this material work with where I'm at now? What do you want to use with this to say now? And a good example of that is even when I'm preaching about our beliefs, what we believe as a church. That's pretty standard. We believe, this is how you are saved. We believe in elders and deacons. We believe in these things, but how does God want me to deliver that right now? And, sometimes that can take longer and sometimes it can take shorter. For me, I guess, it usually takes about a day for me to write and prepare a sermon. So that would be 8 hours, I guess. And usually if I usually I try to do it in one day. Sometimes I break it up over a couple of days. But usually it's about 8 hours for me to, pray about it, start writing it, getting it all together, practicing it, preparing it. That would be the whole thing. That isn't just, me just sitting there for 8 hours, but everything together would probably be about 8 hours is in typical average. But again, sometimes, like I said, I'll know it'll be right there. And then sometimes, if the material is depending on what it is, it may be more. So what about you when you're preparing for a lesson or preparing?
I would say like for
Or you when you're
sermon,
preaching? Yeah.
it would probably take me about a day, about 8-9 hours to do. That's like you. I usually try to break it up just because, like you get writer's block in the sense like, you pray and you might have a passage or maybe you're going through a series. And you have your scripture already, or maybe you're going through a book in the Bible. And so you already have your scripture, which is, a good part already done. Just a matter of praying over that, reading over that, and how to, still stick to what the Bible actually says and how it can really, apply to our life and, pulling and putting like real life stories and examples into the sermon. So I've written them about 8-9 hours. I usually like to just break it up because I cannot focus for very long at all. So I'll usually try to break it up over like 2 to 3 days. Longest I've done is a week. I think the last time I preached, which I can't even remember when that was off the top of my head, it took me just a day because I already knew what I was going to preach on. What I felt, was on my heart to preach. And so I had already been praying about it. And so, I just came in early one morning and started writing and had it written. And then by Tuesday, I looked over it and took some things out, and then it was pretty much done. So, yeah. Did we miss a question?
Well, I'm looking. I thought we did.
There's your favorite website again.
Ronnie mentioned about voting on the color scheme for next week, so we didn't see any votes,
suggestions.
Yeah. So if you have any suggestions, what you'd like us to wear,
What
would you like us to wear? If the color scheme of what you would like.
What
us
I
to
thought
wear,
about? I literally thought about this morning. Was actually, you know what? I'll hold on to that. I won't say it.
Okay.
I won't say it because maybe I might just still do that.
Yes, mine.
Green.
Ronnie said hers is. She has a question. Ronnie.
Green and red. We got green and red. We're gonna be Christmas in here.
Bob, Dana, and Ronnie's questions. We don't see them on here, so if you could copy and paste those into the bottom.
Which ones are they? Like Squirrel. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Tell an embarrassing story. We got that one covered. Thanks, Sophia.
Thank you for sharing in the childhood and teens. It's all one that you can look back to and say you could see God was there. We've got that one. Okay. Bob said, do you have a favorite preacher that you listen to? Ronnie, what is your favorite worship song? Why? And what is your favorite hymn? And then Dana, other areas to consider for those things.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, Chantel. Dana. All right. Bob Heisman, favorite preacher that you listen to? What's your favorite worship song? What's your favorite hymn? All right. I'll go knock them out in order. So my favorite preacher that I listen to, someone that I really enjoy and will probably just put him on and just listen to him in the background.
Really? You don't have to say that. That's fine. That's all right. That's all right. You don't have to.
Is Kyle Eidelman from Southeast. He's just one of those kind of people who, is just very dynamic. And, you could just you put him on and just continue doing what you're doing and listen to him in the background, and you still get like pulled in. And it just, really refuels me. I listen to guys like him, or I can't think of his name, but he's from Southland Christian Church in Lexington, Kentucky. I subscribe to them on Apple Podcasts, or really anywhere you can get a podcast. yeah, so there's that favorite song, favorite worship song. I really like the song "Raise a Hallelujah." So I like that song. Favorite hymn, Jesus Paid It All. So
Okay. Do you have a favorite preacher that you listen to? I'm trying to, I don't listen to a whole lot of other preachers typically. There's a lot of reasons for that. But if I'm listening just for my own enjoyment or for my own growth or whatever, it would probably be Papa Charles Stanley. Charles Stanley, Chuck Swindoll, talking old school stuff here. David Jeremiah, Rabbi Zacharias.
I thought it was Robbie.
It's Robbie.
Robbie.
It's Ravi.
Yeah.
Robbie. I may have said Rabbi. I was,
Ravioli.
Ravioli. It's Robbie Zacharias. For as songs go, probably my favorite is "Give Me Jesus." Probably "Give Me Jesus," and then and I don't know if that's a hymn or not. I don't think it's a hymn. Could it be considered a hymn? It's an older song, but it's not real old.
I don't know if it's a hymn though.
If it's a hymn. I mean, Amazing Grace. I love Amazing Grace. Who doesn't love Amazing Grace, right? But like you. But besides that, doesn't like Amazing.
I love Amazing Grace. It's just a sad song. Like,
how's that a sad song? I was once lost, but now I'm found.
the
free.
meaning of the song is
10,000 years,
yeah,
bright shining as the
meaning of the
sun.
song. Let me explain.
Yeah,
The
it's
meaning
exciting.
of the song is very good. It's a good song, but the memory that I have attached to it is very sad.
Oh, okay.
So for
What's
me,
the memory? Is it?
It
bad?
is a bad song, or it's
It's
not
a
a bad song, but it's just bad.
I'm sorry.
Bad memory. So, but it is a good song.
I'm sorry.
So that's okay. You didn't know,
Well,
but
so are there areas in your life that could be, because we got to finish up. It's 8:02, so we're going to
Yeah.
finish this one up right here. I'll let Andrew can answer that in a second, or demonstrate maybe if he wants to. For me, areas in your life that should be considered by biblical standards to be out of balance or in excess. Okay, so here's the thing with that. One, I'm very, 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 very vulnerable when I preach and when I share from the pulpit. I'm always sharing, things where I've fallen, where I've fell, things that I wrestle with and struggle with. However, I will say this, that if there are not right now, life is weird that way, right? We have to continue to go to God and trust in him and stuff. So when I say this, it's not because I'm perfect, because I'm far from perfect. I would not say that there are any areas in my life that could be considered by biblical standards to be out of balance or in excess. I can honestly say that I can't think of anything that is, but I can also honestly say that if there was, I would not be sharing it here. I would be sharing it with the elders and deacons and those who are who have spiritual authority over me, and I would share it with them to get insight and counsel from them. So, your thoughts?
yeah, that was deep. So, nothing necessarily like that. In the sense of like bad. I guess the question is still, requiring a bad answer. But when I think of it, the only thing that I can think of, and honestly, is well, for one, like what JR said, certainly, but two, just as a Christian, not as a pastor, is just really. And we talked about this really at the beginning of the show. Is the Great Commission. This is go make disciples. Telling people about Jesus, tell people the good news. And what's so key there is it says go. It doesn't say when you want to, when you're thinking about it, or when the opportunity presents itself. It says just go, meaning just do. Don't set up a time to meet with people and see what we can do or to go and do it. It just says go do it and just get it done. Just do it. Just go. And so I would say in that sense, that's the thing that weighs on me, and I do think about that a lot. Is what can I do to tell people about Jesus, to just go and make disciples? What can I be doing constantly to be doing that? So
All right. So before we close out, you haven't
All right.
done the liver.
I didn't get asked the question.
Okay. So you didn't answer it either then.
I did answer.
Well, you said you would, if you decide not to answer the question, they asked you a question.
It wasn't a hard question though. Per
I
se.
know, but it's got to be a question about me. You said if they asked you a question about me. What is that noise I keep hearing?
I keep hearing it too. Oh, it's the printer.
Oh yeah, okay.
The printer like resets itself.
Sounds like a
every
guy
now
with a machete, but so all right, so
All right,
here,
I'll,
just go ahead. You're good.
All right. Where's like the smallest piece? Like that's the.
Yeah,
That's all. I asked for the smallest piece, and like what? That's it.
you're the one that grabbed it. So go ahead. That way you get a full taste. You know, like my wife and kids. You know, I'll tell them to try something. They like nibble on it. They don't get a good flavor, good taste of it. Come on.
I'm eating. What do you want me to do?
It was good, right?
I'm sure Anthony slaved over this for you. Oh gosh.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Come on, it's good stuff.
Like dip my tongue in this ranch. Ugh. It tastes like the texture was dog food.
Dog food.
Like kibbles and bits, like the soft dog food. Like
All right,
you would
so I'm not even
imagine.
going to ask how. Well, one, that you know that it tastes
I
like
just said,
dog
like-
food,
I
and
just
that you
said-
know that it tastes like a specific brand of dog food.
I would
kibbles
grab
and
a
bits.
dog, like the kibbles and bits, like the soft stuff. What I imagine it would taste like. That's what that tastes like. I'm sure Anthony worked very hard for you. So thank you, Anthony.
Yes, thank you, Anthony. Thank you, everybody. It was great. So next week, whoever wants to, we're still waiting for the cheese and the fruit tray and the Pepsi. Just kidding. No, seriously, thank you very much. We really appreciate
I thought you were gonna say no, just kidding. But seriously, no, we really do want this.
No, we really
Okay.
do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And we will enjoy it.
Never try liver and
No.
onions, you guys.
Liver is amazing.
Maybe we just like have like a one night where we just try like a bunch of random different foods.
That's a good idea.
Have you ever had cow
Yeah.
tongue?
Okay, we're going to go now. It's been nice seeing you. Have a good night.
See ya.